I would like to commence shitting on this game's gameplay.
You know what? I've played a few of these games, and gameplay has always been my least favorite aspect of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm a turn-based type of guy. I'm kind of I enjoy my turn-based.
Maybe. But I thought the gameplay in this game sucked.
What about it, out of curiosity?
The entirety of the combat.
the entirety of it.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. Are you well?
Yes, I'm well because I'm well rested. Hell
wow.
Yeah. Hell yeah. High fives all around to being well rested.
Every parent out there can appreciate how, that's like the biggest gift you could get for the day. Actually being well rested with kids. Wow, I'm impressed.
Being well rested is one of those scammy pop-ups that says, "Oh, this dad's well rested," and then underneath the subtitle, "Parents hate him."
yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, I got it. And sorry, and anyone says well rested, I just see that Fallout prompt in the top left-hand corner of my world.
Oh, everyone disliked that.
Oh no, not that. When you're well rested in Fallout, you get more experience.
Oh,
it's the little Pip boy who gets out the bed with like his thumbs up. He's well rested.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Oh, that's good.
See, games are just entwined in my life now.
That's a good thing.
It's either a good thing or I'm going mad. Who knows?
Either way, it's a sign to play more games.
Exactly. If I don't, I could collapse. My body wouldn't continue anymore. Yeah.
I'm well rested because today is my 31st birthday, and my wife asked me, "What would you like for your birthday?" And I told her I want a chicken burger and a nap.
Nice, in that order.
Yes, in that order. So we dropped the kids off at school. We got a chicken burger.
Nice.
And then I took a nap.
It's so simple, yet so that sounds great. That just sounds
really great.
Simplistically, just really great. That's fantastic.
Yes. So I'm in an excellent mood.
Oh, good. You got the chicken burger high and the post nap glow. Oh, I'm sure you're just in the zone right now.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, absolutely. So I'm very ready to talk about. A weird title for me, although I'm sure you, Dave, you can talk about. Games like these for hours on end.
Okay, it's very true, and this what do you call it, version or series of games, I kind of got a love-hate relationship with.
Really?
I really do. Okay, ladies and gents, if you want to know, the game we're doing today is Tales of Vesperia. It's the 10th Tales game in the whole series.
What?
Yeah, this because of the releases and the pre-releases and the versions and stuff. At least I think it's the 10th one. Who can keep up with them anyway? What did you think this version was, out of curiosity?
10th? I thought this was like the 3rd or 4th Tales game.
Nah, it takes this was back in the day when games actually took a long time to make. So this had a production time of a couple of years. So if you go back, even the 10th version means it's probably 20 years before that when they released the first one or something for the Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But then, of course, this game got remade a lot. As in...
This one. This week's game, Tales...
Yeah. This was released in 2008 for the Xbox 360 originally, I think, and then made it over to PlayStation 3.
Tales of Vesperia. I had no idea... The Tales franchise was... I knew it was big, but...
Oh, it's massive.
That's big. That's intimidating.
It's big in Japan, just to quote the song.
Yes.
No, this is one of those... These are like a legacy of JRPG series. It's been around for absolutely ages. It's one of those ones that, if you haven't played one of the Tales games, you're not considered a proper JRPG fan and stuff like this.
No.
And yeah, these aren't to be confused with Tales of Fantasia, Tales of Destiny, Tales of Symphoria, Tales of Rebuff, Tales of... There are so many different Tales.
Yes,
Vesperia,
I think is another one.
They do get so confusing. Because I remember you said the other day that you get the Tales of and the Trials of games mixed up.
Yes, because I don't even know if it's Trials. It might be Trails of. So it's Tales and Trails.
Yeah, I know. I get super confused by that too. That's why I it's weird that I get confused by that. But Final Fantasy, because it's got numbers. That just works for me.
It's so easy.
These are all just names.
Numbers. Just stick with numbers.
Because I genuinely
did it good.
I genuinely thought I'd played this game before this review.
Exactly, because there's no numbers. It's just
exactly. I'd actually played Symphonia, I believe. I played the first.
I think that's the one most people have.
Yes,
played.
that was a big one. That was the one that was that really stamped them in the West.
I think it might be the second biggest Tales game.
Yes, I think so.
That has with the biggest one being the latest one, Tales of Arise.
Yes, that's that really pretty one with the HD graphics stuff. No,
yes, with the chick with the mullet dress.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. She's still one of my waifus. That lady, so you can't
really with the mullet dress. I totally see it. Well, it's a princess with a mullet dress with a sniper rifle.
Yes, exactly. See, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Absolutely nothing.
This was developed by Namco Tales Studio originally. It actually had their own part of Namco Studios was a Tales studio which only did Tales games. Okay. That's been absorbed into Namco in total now because of expansions and
corporate reasons.
Yeah, exactly. This game has been enhanced and released in 2019 on the PlayStation 4, the Switch, the Xbox, and the PC.
Yes.
So it's
I know that because that's the only version I could get my hands on.
Yes, fortunately, I owned the game itself on my side for the PlayStation 4.
Okay, so you played the original version. I unfortunately could only play the definitive version.
Well, it is the better one to play fundamentally.
I get it, but I mean, when there's a game to be played, I'd like to play its original state.
Agreed. I do get that, and I actually agree. But one of those things like, would you play Persona 5 over Persona Royal?
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Persona 5
okay, that's a good point.
Is a lesser game by all accounts.
Yes, it is by far a lesser game. Royal's the way to go. Ladies and gents, Royal's the way to go. List Royal, please.
Yeah, Royal. Like your 200 hours into that isn't enough. You want to do it again.
I just need to see Makoto again.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You're missing her. You've had a good nap. Could you imagine that ending your day? Chicken sandwich, a nap, and some time with Makoto from Persona 5? Wow.
That's the best.
The cutscenes in this game were actually by a company called Production IG. I don't know if you've heard of that company before.
The 2D anime type cutscenes.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. Correct.
Okay, so the very, very anime type intro.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Why did these games always have an anime intro? Why?
That was the era of the time. And let me point it out before you make fun. Production IG now, in how many years later? 18 years later, or was it 14 years later? Is a massive company.
Whoa,
and they do big anime series now. For example, Kaiju number 8 or 9, I forget what it's called. Heavenly Delusion, Psycho Pass, Ghost in a Shell, they originally did. They are one of the big boys of animation and anime now. So getting them to do your anime scenes in this game was a big deal.
Do Tales games still have anime scenes?
Yes.
Whoa, okay.
I don't know if you consider them anime scenes anymore because they run in game engine instead of.
I don't consider them anime scenes.
Okay, no, I don't think that. Oh, God, it's so hard. I've played the game. No, I think they're all rendered in the game itself.
That's still fine, I guess.
I don't even know if the new ones are actually Production IG either. That could actually be the Tales or Namco doing them now.
Oh, that's fine.
Because they're so good.
I do like it when these JRPG games have intermittent anime cutscenes.
Yes.
The Persona games still do this. Persona 5 Royal, even Persona 3 Reload. They have this infamous cutscene that's anime-ified of...
Yes, 100%.
Of your main character, Makoto, being brainwashed and laying on the bed waiting for Yukari, who's in the shower.
Of course, it's anime. where else is it really going to be?
But that's what I'm saying. Even games released this year still do that. And I enjoy it when games do that.
Yeah, I think that's a nod at the nostalgia of it, because we did have games back in the day that always did the cutscene. Even Final Fantasy, it was always a cutscene to the story progression. It was always... And there's something, like I say, the nostalgia. Japanese RPG players, we love that type of stuff. Still to this day, just like yourself. Seeing those little bits where they everything changes and you see, oh, okay, this is a sit down and watch moment. You know, there's something quite nice about that side of things in these storytelling.
Yeah.
An interesting thing about the PS3 version and then the PlayStation 4 version of the game is that it became more completely voice acted. Well, a lot more voice acting in it compared to the first one.
Yes, I saw that point because I was thinking, wow, this game has a lot of voice acting. I played the definitive version, and each point of each dialogue was voice acted.
They also make Flynn a permanent character that you can actually play in part of your party instead of, in the original, he later came on as a guest that you could just do one fight with. And another playable character, Patty Fleur, the small little pirate girl, is also only playable in the newer version. But this game, when it released, was actually kind of a phenomenon.
A bit of a phenomenon.
It released. There was a movie that released alongside it called Tales of Vesperia: First Strike. Was a full-on movie that was played in cinemas all around, and it also spawned 5 different manga adaptations from the world itself.
This game.
This game was big. Not huge in the West, but in the East, this game was colossal. The Tales games are up there with Dragon Quest and stuff. Yeah, no,
this is
really
incredible. This game we played.
Yes, I can see by your scores you're more shocked than ever.
I am! What do you mean?
This game was big. The Tales games got really big, yeah.
No!
It was a simpler time, Nick. We were easily pleased back in the day.
Very easily, it seems.
Okay, yeah, you can see which side of the yin and yang we both sit now in regards to if we enjoyed this or not, right?
Let's get into it. So, first up, narrative. Come on.
Okay. This is what, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the things about these games, and old games set in say 15 years or older. They are very much a slow burn, really slow burn.
I get slow burn JRPG. Yeah. I've sat through slow burn JRPG till the end. I've done it.
Yes, that's true.
And our format probably doesn't cater for slow burns because we've only got a week to play these things.
That's very true.
Which isn't fair towards Tales of Vesperia, but also...
I literally timed it. 2.5 hours was how long the tutorial bit kind of... Until you get to unlock cooking and stuff like that, it was literally 2.5 hours just to get to that part of the story, and it's still just lore building. There's really very little going on. Either way, for a quick description, you play Yuri Lowell, a former knight who becomes a vigilante to help the lower quarter against the Imperial capital. Very much. Almost a standard affair in Japanese games because you're always someone lower down who then takes on the establishment, for lack of a better term.
Yes. You take on the man.
You're investigating the theft of a power core called a ballista or blastia. Sorry, I always read normal English words because Japanese RPGs never have normal English words. So
a blastia.
A blastia. That's it. And when he goes to track down the person who stole it, he uncovers a deep-seated corruption with the Empire, ancient secrets are found, and the truth behind the mystical power that is the blastia. And he does the normal anime tropes. He meets a bunch of people. He meets Estelle, basically a healer. Karol, little hammer-wielding little fella.
Yeah.
Rita, a genius mage, a little wee pirate girl called Patty.
Patty Fleur.
You got the Sanji character. I forgot what's his name. Was Raven. He's just doing all the flirting jokes. And Judith is the Spield wielder. It's almost everyone you meet is kind of got the cliched anime character side to them. At least cliched now, because back in the day, these were kind of the thing. These were.
But this was
new tropes.
2008. This was less back in the day than, for instance, Final Fantasy 6 or 5.
That's fair. Yeah, no, yeah, agreed. I agree. But so these were what we see now as tropes. These are, and still.
Yes. I think they were at the start. They were beginning to be tropey.
Yes, agreed. Yes,
when this was released.
Yes, agreed.
Even then, I don't know.
The problem about these games, and I'm pretty sure it's what you hit, is that it can be very easy to put down and play something else.
Very easy. So easy. So easy, in fact, that's exactly what I did.
That's what I thought. Because all you're doing is getting the princess out the castle, then looking for someone. Did you
call it Estelle?
Later on, she gets called Estelle because her name is too posh. Kind of like Final Fantasy 9, I might add.
I knew it. Okay, because she introduced herself as Estelle.
Yes, because it's... so they had to hide. Because she's now outside the castle, they changed the name to Estelle.
That's better.
Which is
better.
Also exactly what Final Fantasy 9 did in regards to... I can't remember her name. I know she changes her name to Dagger, which is a really dumb name to change your name to. But she had to change her name because she escaped from her castle.
Dagger?
I know, Dagger. Of all the names she chose in the world, she called herself Dagger. It was so weird.
Okay, next time when I'm gonna commit a crime, I'm gonna change my name. You know what I'm gonna change it to?
To what?
I'm gonna change my name to Murder Weapon. No one will suspect a thing.
It's really Final Fantasy 9 tries to do like something poetic about it, like she's small and petite but deadly with the sharpness of a blade and can come out of nowhere. And it was it's so bad because she's trying to choose a name that doesn't stand out. And she chooses Dagger.
Bullshit.
No one else is called Broadsword or Mace or something like that. It's just a weird story. But yeah, it's kind of a thing now in anime.
I totally
get it. Is so slow, and it's
I wrote down my first note for this is the narrative. This is bog standard JRPG.
The thing is, it does get more intriguing later. Like it really does get like world changing, and
of course it gets world changing. This is this came out of Japan.
Yes. Yeah, of course
it's world. There's no game made in Japan that's not about we need to defeat.
It's true. That's very true.
We started with hunting down rabbits, and now us, this unlikely gang, are now fighting gods.
Yes, it's very true. In this regards, it's less. Well, it's kind of corporations. Funny enough, it's they became powerful due to magic. They kind of stole magic or blastia, and later on, it even goes into the whole. Is it right to kill people to save a lot more people? And like moral dilemmas in regards
greater good argument.
Yeah, and it does get into those great adult themes, but you do have to put about 20 to 30 hours to kind of get to the part where you're like, whoa, okay, this actually has weight. There's some weight to your decisions. You actually are doing something profound and prolific and game-changing. But it does. And even the character conversations, whoa, those are slow.
Yes.
The Tales games are they're known for this. It's a unique feature that they actually started. The banter amongst teammates as you're walking around in world.
Which I like. That's something I do like. One of my and most people's biggest complaints for Octopath Traveler, I'm sure you know where this is going, is the lack of interaction between all the characters.
Yeah, there was not a ton of it. That's very true. Yeah, you're right.
It just had 8
stoic
very separate storylines.
Yeah, that's true. I'm with you. They fixed that a little bit in Octopath Traveler 2, because I think that was a big complaint on the first one.
A little bit? I've not played it yet.
I can't remember. You know me. I've got a brain like a sieve.
If those games weren't so damn gorgeous.
I know, granted, yeah, that's one reason you play those games. The story is still quite good in Octopath, or the stories are quite good in Octopath Traveler. Yeah. But the character conversations on these, and it's got the same pet peeve of all these, is that, ladies and gents, I'm half deaf in one ear, so I do lots of subtitles, and I basically read most of my things that I watch. But the subtitles are so much faster than the actual talking.
Yeah.
And you can't skip fast through the talking. So those bits where they have a conversation, the time just goes on. And whereas I appreciate, and I think it is cool how they build characterization, and you find out one is shy and the other one used to be a knight but no longer is, and these little conversations are quite neat and really kind of important to the storytelling aspect. But there are loads of them, absolutely loads of them, and sometimes they're just about insects or somebody doesn't like mushrooms, and I give you it's fleshing out the character, but the amount of times I put the controller down, left, went to the bathroom, came back to see if the conversation had finished yet.
Right,
but
that's wouldn't you then argue that it defeats the purpose? It makes you want to not play the game.
I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I am. My attention span has gotten less and less over the years.
I had the same reaction. I thought, it'd be cool to just have a quick interaction, get some slight character building, character development. Mm-hmm. It's not quick, it's not slight. It takes a while.
Later on in the games, they do give you the ability to press pass, read it, and press next.
Just give it to me at the start.
I know they don't. Sadly, the original versions of the game just don't let you do it. So you're supposed to be so engrossed in the story that you're riveted by these conversations. And
there are some. I've read this somewhere. Developers for the Hades games. If you're not trying to get through Hades, if you're not trying to escape Hades, you're interacting with some of the Greek gods. Right at the start. I think somewhere I read that developers made a point of it to not make any interaction longer than 3. How do you say this? 3
speech bubbles, right? Yeah, got you.
Yes. 3 speech bubbles per person.
Because then sense in a roguelike, right?
It starts dragging on because this game is so fast paced.
No, exactly. No, it's true. That would slow everything down. That'd be very weird.
It would mess with the pacing.
Right? Yeah, really
I know the pacing for Tales of Vesperia and other Tales games are slow, but come on.
Even Tales of Arise, is that the new one, right? That's
yes. With the mullet dress.
That is slow. That is. I played 50 hours, I'd say, if I would add up, and I've still not even come close to defeating the bad guy. There's still tons more to do, and they have the same thing. The character talking and everything is. That is a long, slow burn. It's the standard of the series. This is one of those slow. I don't
mind. I don't mind a slow burn. I put 200 hours in Persona 5 Royal.
You really did.
But that game is fast paced.
I agree. No, they've certainly fixed it. They've certainly fixed the whole.
Somehow Atlas is doing it good.
But I just think our attention spans have gotten shorter.
I guess so.
It just has, with all the media we consume
yes.
and things like that we want YouTube videos and all the stuff. I think we consume media and video games and stuff a lot faster now than we ever did. Because of the same thing we pointed out. You bought games once every 3 months, maybe once a year, so longevity was really important to you.
I don't feel like any of the characters stood out for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I do get you. Again, it's one of those things that if you don't put 50 hours into it, they're not going to. Like, the only one that really stood out was that the dog was holding a pipe. Like, in his mouth.
Oh,
but later on, the story fleshes out.
I liked Repede, now that you mention it.
The story later on finds out that his last owner died, and that's the pipe of his last owner. And he holds it with him all the time because of a memento, how much he loved his past owner. Exactly. And these do develop, these personal little stories develop.
But why is it only after 40 hours?
That's what I mean. It is, all of it is like, it's like reading the Wheels of Time. You know, you're not going to get all of it in the one book. You need to read the whole 15 or how many books those are. And and if you're not engrossed with the story or the gameplay itself, it is quite a trudge through
that is the thing stuff. If only the gameplay was good. We'll get into that gameplay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anything else narratively, it is super slow.
Duke, the final big bad, the big antagonist for this game, did you see who it was?
Yeah, it's the white-haired dude, right? I
Duke Pantere. Does he not remind you of another antagonist?
Are we talking about Sephiroth?
No, what? No, we're talking about Griffith!
Oh, jeez, okay. I'll give you. Sephiroth does also have long white hair, and granted, I have been playing Final Fantasy Rebirth recently, so he's on my mind. Yes, okay, Griffiths. I can never say his
Griffith,
name
you
right.
just finished reading Berserk, or you?
Oh, I wished I
caught up?
finished it because it's not. I thought it was finished, but it's not.
Okay, not finished. then
That's
caught
very
up.
true. That's very true. It's a strict comparison to Griffith. Take into account he was a lot more evil. But yeah, I get what you mean. Yes, as in somebody who was ignoble and nice, turning to be something who he actually later loses faith in humanity alone and sees humanity being just a waste of time. Again, this is a storyline that you have to go in later on. Actually, when your goals align, he actually helps you. He actually is a good guy, kind of, but like in a grey area. He stays in a grey area for quite a long time.
Okay, that's interesting.
And something
enjoy
happens.
grey areas.
Something happens right close-ish to the end, where something. I'm not gonna, no spoilers, but something drastic happens, and then he completely loses any faith in humanity, and that's when he goes full on like dark. But they develop the character. He's actually he was a past hero of the country or the land. He was
there it is. This is
so he lives in a grey
Griffith.
area, then goes dark. It is kind of Griffith-like in regards to that type of side of things. Granted, in theory, Griffith wasn't particularly always kind of light. If you read the book, he's very much a grey area thing. He didn't mind killing people for his own ambitions, if that was the case. But anyway, I digress. That's a Berserk episode we'd have to do sometime.
I'll get to those books one day.
Yeah, they are great.
Right.
If you love artwork as well, the artwork in it is insane.
Let's move on to the visuals.
Yeah.
I was very surprised because when I look at this game, it looks like a PS2 game.
Yes, yeah, I got you. I agree.
And then I saw this game was released in 2009?
2009, 2008, I can't remember.
2008, which is 2 years into the PS3, Xbox 360 life cycle.
That's right.
Why does it look like this?
It's one of those things back in the day. I think it's, again, how much you could fit on a disc in regards to... Because this game is so lengthy that you have to de-res the graphics on the screen so that you can have such a... Because it's only on one disc as well. It's not like a 2-disc or a 3-disc.
Yeah, but it's on the PS3, which had The Last of Us on a Blu-ray. Did this not fit on a Blu-ray?
What's PS3 Blu-ray? I forgot about that.
Yes, PS3
Blu-rays were quite
Blu-ray
big then. Yeah, Blu-ray, that's quite big then.
I get what you mean. 360 then?
It originally came out on the 360, 100%, because I know they had problems with the development kit or something with the PlayStation 3. They had some sort of problem with Sony. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, this initially only released on the Xbox 360, which, I don't know, was the Xbox 360 less powerful than PlayStation 3 in regards to
I don't think it was less powerful, but it used DVDs. So some games had 4 discs.
Yes, of course. I've got Lost Odyssey is one of those games for Xbox 360, which is 4 discs. Yeah, but I do understand what you mean. When I came playing this game and looking at it, I did think to myself, "Damn, this was what I was used to back then. This is the what we were going for in PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era."
See what I mean?
There is. It's hard to remember what the other games were like. Now you've mentioned The Last of Us, and I'm trying to think of other games that I had back then. Even Lost Odyssey was a very pretty game in regards to Xbox 360.
Yeah.
If I hazard a guess, it's something to do about the size. I get that in Japanese RPGs, they want to make it as close to anime, because anime, of course, is very large in Eastern pop culture. So they try to keep it all... I know at one point they wanted to do the whole cell shading thing, just like
yes, I could
Dragon
see
Ball
that
Z
in the
games
definitive edition. The cell shading was actually quite well done. I'm not sure if that was in the original as well. I'm assuming it was, but not to such a degree as it was in the definitive edition.
Yeah, I know, but I do get what you mean. Even there were even scenes, in the conversations when they put up the portraits of each person.
Oh, those horrible.
They really were. They really were
that looks bad.
And they tried to do like the expression on the Yuri, your guy, and when he did like a side glance through his hair, but it kind of still stayed 2D. It was a very weird choice, and it didn't work.
Well, it feels like all of those portraits were all made in a single hour.
Yes, they were just pure 2D. I can't remember if there was much
Not even
shadow or
2D.
light on it. It was just pink, like an MS Paint type job.
Exactly.
Regards to,
It looked rushed and not good.
That's true. I thought those were bad. I thought it was rougher around the edges than I remembered.
Yes.
The graphics and the world and the fighting sequences and all that shit.
Well, I mean, this
I
is
don't
around
think
the
this
same.
aged well.
This is the same time that Persona 4 came out, right?
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes, 2008. I'm pretty sure.
When you mention things like that, then you're absolutely right. This Persona 4 come out on PlayStation 3?
What do you mean? Yes, Persona 4. Okay, Persona 4.
Persona 4 was really pretty. Like, I give you.
Yes,
I have
10
the
July
graphics.
2008. When I look at those character portraits, right? That
Yes,
Persona
no,
4
those are
is where
good.
you
No,
can
those
see
are good.
you,
Yeah.
you can see Chie,
Yeah,
Yosuke. Those character portraits are good.
No, they are comparatively. Yes, I can see them in my head. Yeah, you're right.
And I don't think Tales Games or Namco has a small budget for these games. They could have made just better portraits. Come on.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I'm trying to find an excuse for them in my head, but I'm really failing at finding them because it does remind me of, like you said, it's a little bit better than PlayStation 2, but now knowing what was on the, even like I had Persona 4 on the Vita, which was beautiful in its design and graphics capability.
Yes.
And this would have looked, those games were a lot better than this looked. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. The visuals on this weren't amazing. I liked the cutscenes like you did in regards to the anime type of thing, but I think everything in here didn't particularly age that well. Like, almost everything, be it the gameplay as well. But like I said, I liked... One thing I'll give Tales games and stuff like that, the worlds they build are often very pretty and very... Like one built on water, one built on fire, all those types of things. They're always
it's very JRPG,
inventive.
I'll give it
yes,
that. You've got water land, regular land, fire land. If you can... I guess I'm looking at it through the wrong lens. I'll give it that. I'm looking at it through a lens of somebody who's wanting to take it in a pessimistic way, which is horrible because I had a chicken burger and a nap.
That's true. You're supposed to be in a good mood. But then again, your deep dive into JRPGs has been Persona 5 and Persona 3 Reloaded.
And Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, you've come... Oh, it's true. Well, that's great. But you've come in recently into the higher end pretty ones. So it's hard to gauge really the old ones.
Yes.
To some degree.
You know what? I can... I don't want to say excuse, but I can make peace with it looking dated, and I can make peace with the story being okay-ish.
Yeah.
If the gameplay was good.
Yeah, I knew the gameplay was going to get you in this, and we're not quite there yet. But I think we'll probably have the same points. Anything else visually?
Let's go to audio.
Okay, audio then. You're the audio man. What did you think of the audio?
I'd say just like the visuals seem to look like they were from the previous generation, so does the music. I'm not sure if my point is coming across, but the music doesn't sound like 7th generation music. I mean, this came out the same time that L.A. Noire did, and I listened to that soundtrack on Spotify all the time.
Yeah,
this sounds like a game that you'd rent for the PS2 in 2004. This game sounds like that. Before soundtracks were something...
Unique, right? Yeah.
Unique, something that composers took serious.
No, I do get
games,
what you mean. Because it's got that same, like... what's it like? Static forest noises, and then static field noises. Like
the ambience, sure, that could also use some work, but the soundtrack specifically. I'm not sure if my point's coming across, but there is a big difference between a soundtrack for a PS3 game and the soundtrack for a PS2 game.
In degrees of quality and sound, right?
Yes. A lot of this, while it would make sense for it to be a big orchestral soundtrack like Dragon Quest XI, it isn't. It sounds like it's all MIDI.
Yeah, I know. I do what you mean. Like, of course, you listen to the music far more than I do. When I play games, I always find out when I play a game, and if I remember the music,
Yeah.
it had to be amazing. Because normally, I'm the type of person who plays a game, music plays. I'm glad it's there, but I don't really make like it doesn't leave anything from me thinking about it later.
And
this is one of those games where it could have been playing lift music. And I wouldn't really have noticed. The music was kind of just
sometimes
generic music.
There were points where I thought it was lift music.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. And isn't it funny that there's people out there that make lift music? Like their job is to make something that's a bit boring but friendly for lifts. I always find that so.
And they're probably super rich.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea. Like the most prolific lift composer in the world is like Yaku Takamashi, and he lives in a penthouse somewhere.
Yes.
So I just
Or
I digress.
this old man with a big fake handlebar mustache called Juan Gilliams.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, something weird. If you're out there, you're obviously listening to the podcast. Hit us up. We'd like to know how what your net worth is. And then audio-wise, I did look at. There was actually some weird things about the voice actors. I don't know if you saw this.
I didn't. I just immediately heard Troy Baker and was super surprised that they got him to play Yuri Lowell.
Ah, but did you not see the rest of that story?
What do you...
You played
Okay.
No,
Version, right? There's clearly a story here. I need to know what it is.
You played the definitive version, yes?
I did.
Then that wasn't Troy Baker.
What?
The definitive version was done by Grant George.
What do you mean? I looked it up on Google. It said Troy Baker.
Troy Baker was the original voice of Yuri in the very first version of the game. So that was in my head. But later on, when they refleshed out the game with more voice acting and more scenarios, and that Flynn got to join you and stuff like that in the game, Troy Baker wasn't available or didn't want to. They did this. I couldn't really find out the reason why. He wasn't available to continue doing the voice acting for the new bits they had.
Oh.
And so then came Grant George, who was available. He was known for, he's the voice of Takaharu Kirijo in Persona 3, sorry. You know names better than I do. Who's
Kirijo.
That? Huh?
You mean Kirijo Senpai's dad?
Okay, yes. If his name is Takaharu...
Mitsuru, your waifu's dad.
Yes, I don't know. I know my waifu. He does the voice of him in Persona 3. He played Sigurd in Fire Emblem Engage too, which is quite a big role. He's actually quite a big voice actor now, but he took over Troy Baker's role voicing Yuri in the definitive edition. Now,
was Troy Baker too busy?
He possibly got too famous.
I think that might be it. Oh, he doesn't have time for Tales of Vesperia. Oh, get away, Tales games. I need to voice...
Okay, I'm not entirely saying that's what he said, but it is a possibility.
I'm saying that. I'm saying he got too famous. I don't have time for Tales of Vesperia.
You could be right.
I'm Troy Baker.
I could be right.
I'm a voice actor.
Granted, Troy Baker is pretty... I bet you he's one of the most well-paid voice actors now. Right?
I think he's the biggest name in video game voice acting.
Later on, Patty Fleur, the little pirate girl you meet later on, she's voiced by a lady called Sandy Fox. She did a character in Sailor Moon, the anime, called Chibuisa. She did Kiryoka in the Akira movie, which...
Oh wow! In the Akira movie,
she was the girlfriend, which is actually a massive role.
Wow.
Flynn, did you recognize his voice at all?
No, I did not. Only his name.
Oh, so you know the name San Regal. Oh, you recognize his name. I get the premise now.
Yes, Sam Regal.
Do you know Sam Regal?
I do know Sam Regal. He's part of the D&D group Critical Role.
Yeah, that tiny YouTube channel, right, with very few viewers and stuff like that.
Puny.
Right? Yes, he's of course one of the main cast of Critical Role. He plays Donatello in one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series.
Sam Regal's big. Also, I immediately also recognized Liam something.
Ooh,
I can't remember his last name, but another castmate on Critical Role is also part of this game.
So that's so cool because I always like doing the voice actors, and then when you see one voice actor, and then you see what they're in, and then you so say for example like Patty Fleur here, and then you look at the other thing she's in and you select it, you'll notice that Grant George is also on the other projects. So all the voice actors just seem to know one another and must bump into each other all the time.
That's just so cool.
It is. I think that's really, really sweet.
Hell yeah.
And I like that idea.
Did a dive into the voice acting as well. There's a crazy bad guy called Zagi.
Yes, yeah.
And he sounded a suspicious amount like Akechi from Persona 5.
Okay, yes, I know who that is. That's handy.
So I thought, oh yes, is Akechi shouting Flynn at me? And unfortunately, no, it's not the same voice actor. I can't remember his name, but he's the same voice actor that that did Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 5.
Okay,
and also subsequently Resident Evil 6.
Okay, now
and Resident Evil 8.
Now I'm not a name person. Is Chris Redfield roundhouse kick guy?
No, that's that's Leon Kennedy. Chris Redfield is boulder punching guy.
Ah, yes, I do know who you're talking about now.
Yes,
I don't remember names.
Roundhouse kick guy and boulder punching guy.
Okay, yeah, boulder puncher guy. Okay, that's cool.
Those two
cool.
are the
that's
main dudes from Resident Evil. The Resident Evil.
Yes, that's right. That's right. No, I can.
The new one, Ethan Winters, we don't talk about.
Oh god, nobody talks about that one. No, that's cool. I always like seeing, and it's one of those things. It's always almost nostalgic hearing someone and going, "Wait a minute, I know that voice."
Yes,
I know who that is.
It's just so cool. Who is that? Just listening to a voice and recognizing it.
Yes, and that's one of the beautiful things about voice artists and the genre and just the industry now. It's growing so much and so like amazingly, because even the if listening to the voice actors in here, it's good, but it's not great. If you compare it to voice acting now, it's night and day. There's lots of like conversational voice acting in this, but now with the drama that people put into it and the energy and stuff like that,
the acting, capital A acting,
how it's improved. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
it's literal acting.
Totally,
it's great.
Totally. I would like to commence shitting on this game's gameplay.
You know what? I've played a few of these games, and gameplay has always been my least favorite aspect of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm a turn-based type of guy. I'm kind of I enjoy my turn-based.
But I thought the gameplay in this game sucked.
What about it, out of curiosity?
The entirety of the combat.
the entirety of it. Even the starting sequence and the rating system at the end.
The only thing I liked of the combat was when you encounter someone, the screen kind of cracks.
Yeah, the classic.
The music stops for a second.
Yeah.
There's this moment of anticipation, and then the screen just shatters.
Pokemon does that. I thought. In the Pokemon
games, but this game does it better. I thought, hell yes, this is good.
That is a cool little intro bit.
And then it's just downhill from there.
And that's literally the only bit you enjoy.
That is literally it. This combat felt... I did not enjoy playing this game at all. The combat felt clunky and horrible to try and play. Not play, try and play. Because this game actively fights against you playing it. Which is... It's crazy to think that the game wouldn't want you to play it, but that's what this feels like.
I remember having this... I've had this same level of frustration. I had it during this game as well, in regards to the combat system. And I've always... when I was younger, I hated it. As I've grown up, I can deal with it. But on this game, I don't know if it was me. I just felt the inputs were really slow as well.
Yes!
Am I insane? Blocking?
No.
I'm so used to Stellar Blade and all those things where you've got to be frame perfect, like block.
Yes.
And I swear the animation for blocking took at least like half a second, and it would I'd always miss it. They'd always get a hit in, at least first hit in, and I was so annoyed.
Same. No, I'd get. It's the exact same thing. I'd play and I'd either have to block preemptively.
Yes, correct. Yes.
To not get hit by their combo.
That's right.
Or attack them and get animation locked by an attack.
Yeah.
And then I get hit by their entire combo because there's this blue force field in front of them.
It's very much, it's very much a to and throw in regards to it. You combo them, and then they randomly combo you, and you can't do anything about it.
This makes no sense. And then they stun lock you.
Yes, they hack.
The moment you get hit by that first attack, it's over. It's over. You're getting hit by the entire combo.
Yes, that's true.
How, Dave? Who thought this was? I don't care if this is an older JRPG. It's not. This is 2008.
This is what they would define as challenging battle system back in the day. This was challenging. Kind of broken, but that kind of made it challenging too.
No, but this is the wrong kind of challenging.
Didn't you find the boss fights also scaled up really high? Like, even the first fight, I'm in the castle going around knocking out guards and stuff like that.
Yes, against Zagi. I died. I died.
The first time I died too, and I'm like, first time you die, I think, oh, it must be a story point, right? It's one of those ones where you get defeated at the first time, and then you later on develop more powers and defeat him later. No, just plain ass died, and of course go back to the save point that you may or may not have done beforehand. And I forgot. These games, the little monster fights, they're always kind of like mediocre and relatively easy. The boss fights in these games are always super hard. They're always super tanky. They always have unlimited MP or TP or whatever they call it in this game. And I forgot that the fighting system almost in all of them is that frustrating. Even in Arise, which is very pretty. At least that's pretty. It's a lot of very prettiness on the screen.
But it shouldn't be like this. I understand if a gameplay is boring, that's also bad. But come on, don't fight against me just trying to play the game.
That's true.
You're right. The inputs were slow.
Yeah, I agree.
It took half a second for me to block. And then after the block, there was this half a second where I couldn't do anything else because Yuri was going out of a block. So I'd leave the block button and attack. And it just wouldn't register me pressing attack because it was still in that half a second of me getting out of a block. And this makes no sense.
Yes.
And then I finally would attack, and I would be getting attacked by the first hit of a combo, and then subsequently the rest of the combo. This gameplay, this is horrible.
It's one of the gameplays where you actually have to run backwards and then forwards and then run backwards and then forwards again.
How is just to get fun? A lot of people says that's what Dark Souls is as well. I do not agree at all. This is so far from that.
Okay, on the plus side, there are some things which are kind of iconic to the genre.
Like?
The cooking system. They were one of the first games that did the whole cooking sandwiches and then getting better. And
if that's the case, I'm glad because I enjoy cooking in video games.
Yeah, cooking videos. Granted, Monster Hunter kind of like upped the game in regards to cooking videos.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. There's, it wasn't the first game. I think what's called? I can't remember what's called. Other Japanese RPGs, Chrono Trigger and stuff like that, and the Children of Mana games or whatever the other one's called. When you use a skill, the more you use it, the more powerful the skill becomes. It kind of evolves with your gameplay.
That does make sense.
If you kept using that first spammy attack arts, as they call them in this, once you've done 200, it evolves, and then once you've done it 500 times, it evolves, and that actually continues throughout the game.
That is cool.
Once you've done it 10,000 times, it evolves even stronger. And that's with every art you collect.
Yeah.
So you can actually build your own, if you liked that move or you didn't like this move, those moves actually scale with you. So you can keep the same move set if you want. So
but you need to keep using them.
Again,
practicing them,
again,
quote unquote,
again.
in battle.
Yeah. Which was, again, a long time ago. This was kind of a new thing. This was a Tales series standard. It was kind of a fun new way. They were kind of, it was a way of them stamping out their own genre next to Final Fantasy and all the other games that were coming out.
Yeah.
So that's a cool system. It's a fun idea. I agree. I also hate the rating system because the rating system at the end, once you finish the fight, ladies and gents, you get money, you get your experience, you get a dropped item every once in a while. But then you also get a grade, which will add multipliers to your money and or experience.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to get like a plus multiplier compared to a minus, because you get a minus if you get hit, you get a minus if you don't kill it within 5 or 20 seconds. Jeez. You get a minus if you heal too much. It's so hard. Like, if you want a good rating in it, you have to perfect the fight. And you're right, with the clunky system, that
which
is
is
very
fine.
hard to do.
You're right, which is fine if it was a good combat gameplay loop. If the system worked and it kind of like Stellar Blade again, if it encouraged you to play better and it allowed you to play like that, then sure, perfect, yes, fine, challenge me, go for it. In this game with this combat economy, I really didn't like it at all.
Oh, and the Tales series was one of the ones that also kind of pioneered or expanded upon the no longer having random encounters, but having the enemies spawn on the screen so you could dodge them or not. They were actually one of the forefronts of doing that side of thing as well. Yeah.
That's been one of my favorite JRPG developments.
Yes,
ever.
it's true. I've got nostalgia to random encounters, but I still remember times in
nostalgia. You mean Stockholm syndrome?
Possibly, yeah, a bit of that. There was some parts in the Final Fantasy games where you'd be in position A and a switch would be in position B, like 3 meters apart, and you could sometimes get 10 encounters just in that little space of walking, which was very frustrating.
Yes, that's incredibly frustrating.
It was so annoying. I still and I'm not one of those people who does running away. In games, I'll do the fight instead of running away because I like to.
Well, yeah, because the XP and the money. Exactly.
But yeah, they were one of the forefronts of the doing that, and like you said, that's pretty much used in most JRPGs now because it's
okay for the advancements that this game made or was one of the first of. I'm grateful for those because it seems to have influenced JRPGs after this as well.
Yes, no, very much so.
Which is great.
Really
but then there were just certain parts of this game that was terrible. I do not.
No, I do agree.
I'm thankful, but
too much about this game is it's too easy to put down the controller and play something else.
Yes, way too easy.
It is just too easy. Even just picking up, an indie game or playing something, it's a bit slow, and that's very hard to translate to games now because we are spoiled in the gaming sphere. We have some great games. We have some doozy bad games, and it's hard to go back to a retro game and still get that same engagement which we're used to now.
Oh yeah,
and this is one of those ones. It's very hard to keep engaged when the story is so slow. The combat is mediocre.
Gaming landscape have changed. We've changed as gamers. It's different. It's like watching a movie from the 50s.
True, yes, super hard for anybody to do now. Even myself, a 50s movie like, I know, Casablanca and
or something.
It's a relatively hard thing to watch when we're so used to.
Well, I know what's that good movie? Gone with the Wind? Not Gone with the Wind.
It's a good movie. It's a classic.
Yes, but that's not an easy movie to watch.
It isn't. Not today. No youngsters are watching that movie, in my opinion. Not nowadays.
No,
and you're right. It's evolved, so it's hard to. It hasn't aged well. I know people use that term a lot. But it really
Citizen
hasn't.
Kane. That's what I'm thinking of. Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane's a classic. Yeah, no doubt. Damn. Have you watched Citizen Kane? That'd be a random one. I'm about to say, you haven't watched anything, but you have watched Citizen Kane.
I just know of it.
Oh, okay, as you should. Prolific movie. So yeah, it doesn't age. The gameplay is rough. There's fun little things in it, but it is rough all the time.
That's the combat. I also am not such a big fan of the exploration. Right? You had this quote unquote open world, but there's no map.
Oh, you build the map. You have to be a cartographer.
Build it?
Is it cartographer? Yeah, it's one of the things. A lot of Japanese RPGs did this in the day, where you'd get a tiny map and it would all be shadowed, and you had to go and develop it yourself and find every corner of it. Some games would actually unlock rewards if you filled the map of a certain area 100% and stuff like that.
Okay,
and this was one of those games. But it's also one of those things that also bugged me when you're in the towns and you go the wrong way. Be it a story wall is blocked there or something. Your guy isn't the fastest on his feet, so I'm like, can he sprint? And he is, and it's like sometimes one side to the other would take like 6, 7, 8, 10 seconds, and I know I'm being very fussy. I just wanted him to run
I got
faster.
that as well. There's no other traversal methods.
No,
besides jogging.
Yeah, and you
can just have a brisk walk.
It's like
tiny
power
jog.
walking.
Yeah, nothing else. No sprinting, no jumping, no riding on Repede, nothing.
Which actually makes it even more slow. It just adds to the slow burn of everything.
This is
when
what
the
I'm saying.
combat's slow, the walking slow.
Bad game.
Yes. Anything else gameplay-wise?
That's it.
Okay, performance.
So this is odd. I played the definitive edition.
Yeah.
Which has been enhanced and made to run buttery smooth.
Yes, of course.
I got 60 frames all throughout.
Oh, wow. 60 frames isn't bad. I thought this was just running at 30.
That's the thing. I'm curious about the original version.
Yeah, that had to be 30 frames. I think that's the one I was playing.
Yes. That's the one you were playing.
Yeah, everything about this moves slower, in my opinion, than a 60 frames would be. Like, everything did. Even, like, just the animation of, like, opening a box or a door or something was pretty... We say it's slow now because we're so used to something. Back in the day, you wouldn't have noticed it. But now when you compare it to today, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 30. Which is, it's hard to deal with now. If especially in the bigger screens you have. I don't know why. I've got a relatively large TV screen. It just seems slower.
Yeah.
So did you have performance issues in regards to frame rates and stuff then?
No frame rate performance issues, no bugs, no.
I literally put down again performance. I want to skip conversations if I can. And
okay, I get that. Yes.
I thought that was so annoying. But then I'm just being grumpy. Back in the day, I know I played some of these games.
It could be a design choice as well.
True. You're supposed to listen to them and become friendly with them and actually enjoy the companionship in regards to these conversations.
But give me the option to not.
Agreed. And which they do now. So obviously they've learnt and you can skip these dialogues if you want to in the future.
Yep. I don't have any other...
No, same. It ran kind of fine. It was an old game, but it ran fine. Okay, value for money.
So my usual argument for value for money is if the value you find in a game is that which kind of you make of it. If you enjoy the gameplay loop of said game, you'll find tons of value. If you don't like the gameplay loop, you'll find none. If you don't like the story, no value. But other people will. So this is a very subjective segment.
Agreed,
right?
Yep.
With a game as slow and as long as this, 45 hours.
Is that the average
if you
playthrough?
Enjoy this, there's tons of value.
Yeah, no, there is a lot there. There really is, and it only gets bigger and bigger as you develop the world. It really is.
I read on howlongtobeat.com that for a completionist to get 100% this game, it takes one playthrough 150 hours.
Holy crap, that's a lot of time.
I can't imagine.
Wow,
I cannot imagine.
Jeez, yeah. Like I said, anything when it's that long, and I'm not much of a completionist. If it's too extreme or just takes too much time, I don't do it. But 150 hours—that's an insane amount of time to get all of it.
It really is.
And strangely enough, there's a weird aspect in regards to Japanese RPGs is that they don't ever really go down in price. Did you know that on Steam and Nintendo, this game is still $50?
Whoa!
And on PlayStation Network, if you haven't got the subscription, it's still $40.
No way!
Yeah, it's insane. But Japanese RPGs have that thing. If you look at a bunch of them.
Okay, that caught me a bit off guard. This game is from 2008? Okay, the definitive edition is 2019. But still.
If you go onto the PlayStation Network and stuff and look for Final Fantasy VII, like the original, depending on how old that game is, that's still like $10 to $15. Japanese RPGs, to some degree, because they didn't have the biggest physical print run to some degree, especially in the West compared to the East. In the East, there's loads of them. So they are relatively rare, but these are digital versions that are $50.
Digital versions?
Yeah, I know. I was shocked how expensive they were still. It's just the nostalgia and the fandom, and they keep the prices high. I don't get it. This game is old enough to be one of those like $10 games that you can pick up now and play.
Yes.
Yeah, it's super expensive. And in physical, Xbox 360 had lots of prints, but the PlayStation 3 version is actually worth quite a lot more because they only did 1 or 2 print runs for the PlayStation 3, and that was it. So the physical disc is actually quite expensive. Yeah, I couldn't believe the price of the digital version. I thought that was freaking insane. I'm so glad I have a copy
Come
of
on,
it.
even for the definitive edition, it's 5 years after
that's
it's
an
been
insane.
released. No,
Yeah.
that price can come down.
That is insane. But yeah, strangely enough, that seems to be something about Japanese RPGs. They always stay high. Even weird things. There's a RPG of Fairy Tale, which is it's a very meh game that came out for $60. And I saw on the Nintendo store literally like a day or so ago that is now $55. And it's not amazing. It's not great in the slightest. It's just the IP that's quite popular, so they keep it high. The same with Tales games and stuff like that. The IP is so popular and prolific, I suppose. They just keep that price up there and prefer to sell 5 at 50 than 100 at 5.
Okay. I don't entirely agree with that business practice, but I'm sure it must be working for these companies if they've been doing it for decades and they're still going. I'm sure it must be working, but geez, that's not very consumer friendly, I think.
No, it really isn't. And again, that's something, in my opinion, Japanese RPGs just really aren't that kind to their player base.
It does open up the conversation, though, of the value of a game and if it diminishes over time.
Yes, true. Yes, that's a big conversation, though.
It is. Not one we're going to have right now, but I think my final point is if you enjoy the gameplay loop for this game for some reason, you'll have a good long time with this, and I mean, a lot of people certainly has had a good long time with this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's again, like all our reviews, it's subjective. If you've got lots of time, or if you can't even afford multiple games, this game would be a great place to put your money into because it's got so much to it. It's a very slow burn, but if you like a slow burn, then this is the game for you. Yes. What did we score this bad boy anyway in the long run?
Right, so the scores we made for this game, my score is significantly lower than Dave's score.
Yeah, no. My nostalgia
was in the lower quarter for what's the world called? Terca Lumireis?
Sorry, it's like you just made up a word. Sorry, what's a Terca Lumireis?
I think that's what Estelle calls this world. So our scores live in the lower quarter for Terca Lumireis, and somebody stole the blastia. So once we went into the castle to find the blastia, only one came out with Estelle. It's the letter grade rating of C, which is too high.
No, it's fine.
Okay, fine. Yes, okay, fine.
That's
I guess it's fine.
If Ratchet and Clank can be a C and Gemini Rue can be a C, yeah, this is a C game. There's a lot there. But if it is, like I said, I can't get over how slow it actually burns. This was so incredible. But they are known for that. I've played Arise and I've played Vesperia and Symphonia, and I my memories, I don't have the greatest memory. I just know they're all a slow burn. They're all really kind of slow. That's their thing. That's their genre. That's how they like to do it.
I know, but a game can be long and a slow burn, and I mean, still be fast paced, still be good.
No,
I keep referencing Persona 5, and I should stop.
But you're agreed, and there's a few that's like that. Even the new Final Fantasy games are like that. Even Clive and stuff. It's a long game, but it is fast paced. It's more what we're used to, and it has evolved.
Yes,
games evolve in regards to everything, and
yes, they totally do. Games evolve, we evolve. That's why sometimes the games that we played 20 years ago might not be the same like it is through our nostalgia goggles.
Exactly
or
right.
memories, rather.
Exactly. It's always sad when you go back to a game and it's not what you remember. I always hate that side of things. Because
I mean, sometimes it'd just be better to not play
agreed.
Those games again.
It really is. It's disheartening to find out they're not as amazing as you thought they were when you were a kid. That is really disheartening when you pick them up again. I hate that side of the things. But anyway, it is a C game. It's a decent game if you like it. There's a lot there. If you like anime, this is kind of your thing. It's got all the tropes. It's got all the kind of characters. It's got all the fan service as well, if that's your type of thing. So yeah,
it kills me that we scored this higher than Erica, and I have no mouth, and I must scream.
That does not for me, because I still don't know if Erica is actually a game. Listen to the other episode. You'll find out why. I'm not sure if that's a video game.
I get that argument. Anyway, thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Critical Arcade podcast. If you'd be so kind to leave us a review or like and subscribe, YouTube people, listeners, viewers, go and do those things. You can catch me on email. I'm nick@criticalarcade.com.
And I'm Dave at criticalarcade.com.
But besides your email, Dave, where else can we follow you?
Well, I am out and about, but taken in regards to this game and how slow and long-paced everything is and how the conversations just take far too long, I thought that I've now developed the ability to slow down people's time by about 120%. So if you come to me and have a conversation or you find me, I will slow down time so much that everything you do takes at least 5 to 6 times longer. Every conversation, every step, every bathroom break.
The entire, all time or just the person? Just the person.
No, I'm not going to punish the
so
world.
time goes on as normal and just the person is slow?
Yes, exactly, right? Exactly. Oof. So if they go for a pee, that pee for them takes about 5 hours. So it's just a perpetually slow life. Yes, just to match the perpetually slow version of the story in this game. So if that's what you want to do, yes. No, I love how in this game I've developed an omnipotent ability to control time, and this is what I do with it. I'm just going to slow down people's lives if they bug me. But that's what it is.
Don't bug Dave.
That's what it is.
But that's what it is. Don't bug Dave. So rather support us on Patreon. Once we get once we get a Patreon, we'll be pumping out some more exclusive content on Patreon, like our post show and Critical Cinema. So go check out what we've made over there.
Very much so. Do it, please.
Dave.
Yeah.
How would you tell us, what have we got lined up for next week?
Well, next week's game is, again, it's strangely enough, it's one game that everybody kind of has played one of them in some regards.
Yeah.
The next game we're playing, the listeners decided to give us, is the Lego Movie video game. It's a weird sentence, the Lego Movie video game.
Yes.
But it's the video game based on the Lego movie that was in cinemas. Everyone is awesome.
Yes,
and all that, right?
It's a video game based on a movie based on a Swedish toy set.
Yeah, that's right. It is a weird...
Or Danish, rather.
A collaboration, yes. Which... To be honest with you, who can hate a Lego game? They are actually always kind of fun and charming and whimsy. So I look forward to it. I remember I've watched the movie, so I look forward to see if it's a direct version or not. Oh, wow, you watched this movie too. Congrats.
I have, because I got kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I figured. No, it's always put smiles on your face, so I look forward to playing that one. The Lego games rarely let you down, I think.
No, they don't. I'm looking forward to this. I might even play this with my son.
I think that's a good idea.
Thanks for listening on this week's episode. We'll see you next week, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.